Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Tech Tip Tuesday. My name's Ken Close. I am a Healy World member here in the United States, engineer, lover of the technology, and I get the blessings of being joined by our onboarding specialist for Healy, Henry Pena. Hi, Henry. Welcome.
Hey Ken, hello everybody. Welcome to Tech Tip Tuesday.
Hey, I'm glad you guys are here. Glad you're here, Henry. So guys, if you guys haven't been to Tech Tip Tuesday before, here's how it works. This is a chat-based forum where we answer all your questions live here on the call. But you put them in the chat, and Henry and myself will unpack those and come up with solutions, answers, solve mysteries, all kinds of stuff is what we attempt to do here. We're pretty successful, so it's fun. It's a great time being here. So what we can't do is we can't talk about any diseases, preventions, any medical conditions, diagnosis, or anything related to illnesses. We do have resources we can send you to amazing Healy resources to a database that helps a lot with that kind of thing. But otherwise, technology, apps, functionality, theory, I mean, we even get into quantum physics every now and then, guys, so buckle up. Anyway, so with that being said, let's get the party started. You guys throw your questions in there and let's see what we can do. It's been a minute. I think we canceled last week. But so maybe we'll have some new and fun stuff to talk about today. Let's see. So the first one we got here, Henry, it looks like Marjorie says, what is the organ meridian for? All organs? So great question. So meridians, if you guys are just some principles for a second here, what are meridians in general, right? Meridians essentially are communications channels within our body. There's amazing communications in our entire body. And I was in a lecture with Marcus Schmika one time, and he talked about these meridians and how a meridian can actually be as narrow as one cell wide along your body, right? Throughout the body. It's amazing and incredible how it's such a small channel of information, but yet vital in the orchestration between systems of our body, which is organs and brain, hormonal or chemical systems. All of that stuff has got these channels. And so when we're dealing with like Healy's got the organ meridians and then specific meridians for different organs. So you can actually do analysis. You can find out perhaps where support's needed in frequency medicine and frequency response in terms of tuning in your body. And you can run specific organs. Okay, so that's basically what, I mean, Healy is is communicating with the body, enhancing, or I should say, amplifying and creating coherent frequencies to work with the meridians or communication systems. Henry, you want to add to that?
Yeah, of course, and I think the only thing that we'll be missing is to understand that even though these meridians represent different pathways in the body, they all represent also different qualities of life, but also different organs. So when you simply say like organ meridian, we're really just saying that each meridian represents a different organ. It's just something to keep in mind that even though again it's a pathway traveling through the body, they all represent their own individual organ. And one way to look at this into like deeper, you can do this in two different ways. You can go into the Healy 2 app and go into the information center at the bottom of the app and go to the manual. And then you will eventually reach the area where you can see the meridians and you can look at what the different meridians are, and it goes deeper into that. The other way to do it, and I think this is probably easier, especially for those who are used to using the Healy Advisor Analyze 2 app, is to go into the resonance module. And when you see all Healy programs, as well as everything else, you're going to find Meridians 1 and Meridians 2 programs. And if you go ahead and press right there, you can go further info on this database, and it will show you a little bit more about those databases that, again, if you go to Meridian 1, the Meridian 1 programs, you're going to have 10 different databases that correspond to 10 different meridians. And then if you go to Meridian 2 programs, then you would get another 10 that correspond to other 10 different meridians.
So think about it. So I like what you said there, Henry, because we're talking about various individual organs, but when we're saying when it says organs as a singular entity, right? So that's again, this is as a systematic body. We have, let's just say, a system of skin. All right. We have a system of skeletal structure. We have a system of muscle, and we have a system of organs. And so when we're speaking to those different systems in a group, right, and we're trying to support them as a group, especially when it's organs meridians. So now we're talking about a communications channel with an entire organ system, no different than say like your cell phone is the communications channel for the world. Like it's separate from say a landline, the phone you go and grab somewhere. So if we're looking at support for a landline communication system versus support for a mobile communication system, two different technical realities, right? And so when it comes up as organs under meridians, it's a system, a grouping, a complete entity, and then go ahead and run what it's asking you to run there, because the next phase of that alignment is then being more specific. So sometimes we have to go from the zoom out to the 10,000 foot perspective and go, okay, I just need overall healing, right? I just need overall healing. Now that could be everything, and that's okay, because then once we go through that process, then we fine tune and get into something a little bit more specific. Okay, so hopefully that helps. That's kind of the idea when it's just as a single entity. Work with that, because it will be defined, refined, and magnified downrange, down the road. Okay.
No, yeah, that completely makes sense. And no, yeah, now I understand better the question, and I agree with you. Like when you do see that organ meridian, individual organ meridian, because that's just one of the databases that multiple it contains. As Ken said, it's really just a matter of looking at it as a system rather than just the individual organs, and then going deeper, as Ken said, because you're gonna see that some of them also represent other complete system, not necessarily specific things. Like you're gonna have the lymphatic system, just like you're gonna have the nerve meridian. So again, things that are a little bit more generic, then it's a matter of kind of like doing the work of going a little deeper and more specific with the next analysis.
Yeah. Pinky, if you could put your question in the chat for us, we want to unpack that and get as detailed as we can. We typically open up we talk about the questions from the chat so we can clarify those and get, basically add more content. We chat back and forth through the chat. All right. So I also want to talk a little bit about what's happening. So we previously had scheduled this call for the the summer highlight, right? For Tech Tip Tuesday summer highlight. And Jake is in Germany right now, right? He's off doing some fun stuff. So we rescheduled that for next week. So please join us next week as we are going to have a summer fun time. We're going to do some prizes again, do some fun things about, just a Tech Tip Tuesday fun time. So make sure you tell your friends, join us here. And that's next week on Tuesday. All right. That's what is that Tuesday? That Tuesday is the 15th.
Yeah, I actually have for you right here. If you guys look at the chat, there is a little flyer right there. You guys can refer to that. So that's for next week, Tech Tip Tuesday, the summer celebration episode.
Exactly. All right, you guys. All right. So what else do we have? Let's see. I have another question. So Pinky says, please tell me how to create frequencies for my clients. Okay, so like specific frequencies. I'm wondering if you're doing an analysis, here's the most powerful tool that Healy has, and that's the Heal Advisor Analyze 2. Okay, it's super powerful. And because we can create a whole, basically a whole, what I call a recipe or a protocol for a client, local, non-local, doesn't matter. Once a client is in our app, we can then do an analysis on them, and Healy, and we can choose various databases within the Healy system itself. You place them in the Heal Analyze 2 app, you place them in there as a client. Then you can choose a database in which you would analyze them within. The database just simply means it's going to put a bandwidth around the results. Okay. It can be all Healy programs, which is the microcurrent programs. Now it's going to show you basically 5 pages of content or 5 groups of Healy programs in which are applicable to them. Or you can choose some of the other homeopathic stuff, or various remedies that Healy has in terms of databases, including Meridians. We were just talking about Meridians, right? If you've got the Meridian module, you could do an analysis within that. Depends on your Healy version, your edition. But again, within the databases themselves, you can come up with an amazing amount of answers and then send that information to their field. Again, non-local. So, okay, Henry. So she's saying yes with Meridians. You want to talk about that?
So yeah, I mean, one of the things that you can do, Pinky, is that, as Ken said, there are a lot of different tools in the Heal Advisor Analyze 2 that will allow you to create, I wouldn't say necessarily create frequencies, because the frequencies are already there. The frequencies are just part of the world. And what's really happening is that the Heal is going to be analyzing the client, then is going to be determining what of all the different databases that we have, which one is the one that resonates the most with them, the one that aligns more with whatever needs they have, and then you can go ahead and vibrate those. Now, keep in mind that the same thing, but physically speaking, is different, because when we talk about the Healy 12, we're talking more about matter and the physical body. When we're talking about the Heal Advisor Analyze 12, we're talking about information. But the part of creating a specific frequencies per se, the Heal is really doing that itself. Like the part where it selects the best frequencies for whatever the needs of the clients are, that is really the Heal's job. What you can do though is, as Ken said, is to use the Heal Advisor Analyze 2 app to better tailor their needs, to provide them feedback and insights. And one of the things that you can also do with the healing, and this is where we go more towards the expert area, is that there are certain therapies who can create specific programs with very specific frequencies and upload them to the Healy 2 app. That it's also a possibility. It just, everybody, like all the expert therapies or microcurrent therapies, have to go through a specific process in order to be able to do that. And then they are able to do the process of uploading those programs with those frequencies. Beyond that, another thing that kind of touches this topic is the idea of recording vibrations from a specific objects or supplements or things, to basically add to match the vibrational information that this object has into the app. That's something that can also be done with the Heal Advisor Analyze 2 app. So what you would do is that you would do an analysis, then you're going to see a section at the top that says add entry. And then after that, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, it will tell you to add symbol. And the symbol is basically the vibration. So what some people do is that they basically record a vibration. Again, we're talking about information. We're talking about, if the world is made out of different properties and energy is considered to be one of the most fundamentals, even more fundamental than energy, there's information. So when we're talking about the Heal Advisor Analyze 2 app, we're talking about information. That's something super important to keep in mind. So what you're actually recording is basically the information of whatever object you have, so that the Healy will basically match the frequency as you are vibrating it to somebody. But yeah, those are just some of the different ways that you can do that. So again, you can tailor someone's needs by using the different modules on the Healy Advisor Analyze 2 app, also known as the Blue app. As I said, there are expert programs or therapies who can create these programs that have specific frequencies. And then ultimately, you can also have the option to do the recorded vibration by going into the add entry option within a specific result in the Healy Advisor Analyze 2 app.
Yeah, so as Henry was saying that you mentioned, Pinky, you were talking about meridians, doing analysis on meridians. And so again, with the Healy Advisor Analyze 2 app, the Blue app, you are able to go to the resonance section for Healy, and you know, you can just scroll down to within the pink dot programs. Okay, in other words, within the micro programs, you can choose a database of the meridians and just do an analysis on there's 2 pages there. So you can do an analysis on meridians 1 and meridians 2, and you can get 2 separate readings. So remember what it's going to do. Let's look at the principles of what the Healy Advisor Analyze is doing. So no matter what database you choose, it's going to pick the top 5 entities within the database. Now, if the database is, say, all Healy programs, well, what are the entities within all Healy programs? They're groups. They're groups of programs, okay? So it's going to pick the top 5 groups. So if you choose all Healy programs, all Healy groups like that, it's going to choose the top 5 groups. And then you've got to drill those down to exactly which program within those groups, because remember, there could be up to 12 programs in any one group. So then you need to drill all that down by an analysis on each individual group to come up with the top 5 for that particular group. Okay, now you've got, if you've did this right, remember it said the top 5 groups because you're analyzing the entire Healy program database. So the top 5 groups show up. Then you analyze each group individually, shows the top 5 programs within the group. 5 times 5, that's 25 potential needed programs for this client or this person. So if the person has the Healy themselves and they have the Healy 2 app, and they could run microcurrent programs or run the Healy 2 programs on themselves, now you have a recipe you can hand to your client, 25 different programs that are most relevant to them in very specific order, because from number 1 all the way down. And what I do is I do an analysis on the very first program group that Healy showed me in the first analysis. Then that gives me 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then I do the analysis on program group number 2. That gives me 5. That's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then onward down the list. This is priority. Healy always gives you things in order of priority. So now I've got 25 programs in order from 1 to 25, most relevant to least relevant. And if you ran that program with microcurrent on the client, if they had a Healy, you ran that program on them with microcurrent, you can do 3 a day. So all of a sudden now you've got 3 weeks worth of not 3 weeks. You've got a whole week worth of very specific programs to run on their body, right? Now, that's true of any one of these databases. Let's say that it's a database, I don't know, it's a database around the meridians. Okay, if you're just choosing the meridians, that's just one of those groups. Now, you do an analysis on the meridians, it's going to give you the top 5 meridians that are necessary for running on that person, just because you've only narrowed it down to that database. So Healy always does the analysis and nets you the top 5 results within the database you've chosen. If that database has further entities, you would need to take each one of those entities and drill them down to a smaller and more finite answer. But I mean, the groups are about the only ones. When it comes, like Henry was talking about, creating your own frequencies based on a particular item, and you want to send that to their field. Okay, so that's a whole nother training. And there is, Henry, is there a training on that in the academy? Are you aware of it?
Well, for what in particular specifically?
For doing a for creating a custom analysis of an entity, of a supplement or a
Got it.
uh
I don't think there is a specific training. It really is as simple as, because I know it's not that obvious, but it really is as simple as doing an analysis, whether it's an aura analysis, a coaching analysis. The only one that you wouldn't really be able to do is a resonance analysis, but you can do this with the aura, and I believe with the coaching too. And then what you would do is that you would go ahead and on the top you would see the add entry section, and that's basically for you to add whatever you want. And I always tell people in these trainings, whenever I do onboardings, doing that sometimes kind of defeats the purpose of the app, because ideally you're trusting the app and the ability has to analyze the information field to tell you what it is that you may need in a given moment. But if you want to experiment with it and start adding your custom vibrations, you can do that. All you have to do, you do the aura analysis, for example. Once you get your result, you do add entry, and then at the very bottom, you would go ahead and record the vibration of whatever it is that you're trying to record. Remember, this is not about vibration, like, you hold the thing and you vibrate it. It's not about that. It's about information. So as long as you have the awareness and the understanding, all right, there is this stone or this supplement or this tree or anything, or even a person, as long as you have the awareness and there is information existing somewhere in the information field, that is enough. So there's no need to overcomplicate things and say, okay, how am I able to record this into the app? Just the awareness that the information is out there and you're aware of it is more than enough. So all you have to do, go to the app, do the analysis, add entry, and record vibration.
Yeah, I know that there are you might even be able to go to there is some trainings. I've done some trainings in the past, but there are some trainings out there. You might even be able to go to some of the Healy groups and ask a question about if someone has some examples of how to actually do that that specific analysis and changing a recording like that. I know there are some out there. I couldn't tell you an exact reference point, but if you went to the social media where the Healy groups are, ask in there, and somebody will probably point you to a training that someone has done in the field, a leader, a Healy leader, and might be
Yeah,
useful.
because the only option, I know there is the recorded version of the onboarding that I do for the Heal Advisor Analyze 2 app that's available on our YouTube channel. It's right there on the, so you go to our YouTube channel, which is Healy World Learning Hub, and then you're gonna find in the playlist called Healy Onboarding, you would find the onboarding for the Heal Advisor Analyze 2 app, but I don't think I go specifically over that. I may mention it, but I don't really go into the specific. But I did see that somebody here did share a link with somebody going to hopefully it's on the new app, because I know there were trainings that we used to have on the older app. So hopefully this one is in the newer app.
Yeah, that's true. Some of the training was old on the old app, and how to do it was different. But yeah, there's a link there. So hopefully that's a good one. Give that a shot. Let's see. So Marjorie's asking, are there any conferences coming up in Germany? There's there there are two events coming up, but are they located in Germany? Good question. Might have to pull up our global schedule. See if we got something there.
Well, I know that we recently share on our Healy Learning Hub the latest frequencies and friends that our friends in Germany did, and they did talk about a few upcoming events. I don't know if there were in-person events, but I can definitely take a look at the link just so that we can. But yeah, if you can find the link for the calendar, that would be great, Ken. But I'll go ahead and also take a look here at the frequencies and friends that we did in Germany, because I know we mentioned a few events there.
Yeah, I'm just looking at our, so we have folks, if you're not plugged into for the US anyway, the Team Healy Americas, it's the US, Canada, Mexico, Team Healy Americas. That's our Telegram group that we post a lot of things around this market. But let's see, other markets plugging into their communications boards and such like that. That's, we don't have them all here. So
So in that link I share, I added the timestamp for that video, so you're gonna find them at the bottom of that video. It's a YouTube channel, it's a YouTube video, and if you look at it's all in German. So if you look at the timestamps, you're gonna see that some of them are regarding our recent events in Germany and also the future events that we plan to have. One of them is gonna be a Super Saturday. One of them is gonna be a masterclass with Martin Whitman. So, and there's also even the link there to sign up for the Healy Super Saturday they're going to be doing. So, you can take a look, and you're gonna see it right there. As soon as you go on the link on the bottom, you're gonna see what I'm talking about the different events.
all right. Let's see. Pinky, I'm gonna add the link here. You want to get into the group. Let me see here. Hang on just a second. I'll give you the link and you can get in that group. Let's see. 1 second. Take me a second here. I'll add that link for you. Okay. There you go. All right. So that link I just put in the group there, guys, is the Telegram group for the Team Healy Americas. So if you guys are in that region, you can jump into that group and you'll see a lot of stuff that we put there. Specifically, we put things in there again around the Americas market. So typically things are in English. Sometimes you'll see links or content for other languages, but typically that's where it is. We always announce the Tech Tip Tuesday calls, the frequencies and friends calls. We also have a whole schedule or a whole events board that people can go to also. But again, that Telegram group is a good one to be in. If you're not there, jump in there and that'll help you out a bunch, I think. The moderators are, well, I'm one of the moderators in that group, but Healy puts a lot of content in there, which is the specials and, just highlights and things like that are necessary. So definitely those are good spots to be. If you guys aren't familiar with the new Healy Solutions series, those are in there also. So those are on Tuesdays as well. So take a look at those. They are in the evening, in our time zones. So it is 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Those are the Healy Solutions series. What is it next week is the stress and anxiety support. So that's a good one. That'll be next week, Tuesday, July 15th. Do we have one tonight? Let's see. I don't recall.
I don't think so. Healy Solutions, I don't think so.
I don't believe so tonight. No. So next week. So join us in the early day for the Tech Tip Tuesday and the summer celebration. Then in the evening for those Healy Solutions series. It's going to be fun. It'll be about stress and anxiety. All right.
I'm also sharing the link just so that everybody has it of our YouTube channel, Healy World Learning Hub, because everything that we do, we always upload it there, including the Tech Tip Tuesday. So this call that we have today, we're going to upload it. We also upload our advanced trainings. we upload our Healy Solutions series videos. So if you ever miss on anything, remember, chances are it's probably going to be on our YouTube channel. So you can just go ahead and use that link there.
All right, let's see. What else do we got, guys? And by the way, if you want to save this chat, in the chat box at the top there where it says Healy Tech Tip Tuesday, there is 3 little dots next to that. Those 3 little dots, if you click on those, if you're on your computer or laptop, you click on those, it will have a spot where it says save chat, right? So you click on save chat. At the end of this call, you'll get another window that pops up on your screen with the chat dialog box. Basically, it's a text file, and you can save that. You'll have all this content that's in there. So hopefully that helps too. The idea is to get as much information to you guys as we can. So Pinky, hopefully you got into that group. So you added your number here. So I just want to make sure you got in that group. That link is the easiest way to do it. If you have a, yep, I see you've joined it. So I get notices on my device when people are joining the group. So you're all set. It's that easy, isn't it? All right. Okay. What else we got? I don't see any more questions. Did we miss anybody? Everybody's good.
No, I think the only question, I mean, I did see that Anik did ask if the Healy Solutions was tonight, but it really seems like it's going to be next week. Like everything seems to indicate that's going to be the case. I'm even looking here at the calendar and it's showing for next week.
Yeah.
Same day as our Tech Tip Tuesday next week.
July 15th, guys, for that. All right. And then yes, so Kim's asking if there's a replay for that. So as Henry said, the replays for those are in the YouTube. Those Healy Solutions little recordings, that series is also on the YouTube page. So the ones that you've missed, because there already has been 2 others, I believe.
Yeah, I can actually, if you don't mind, Ken, I'm happy to show them I want to show them multiple things. I want to show first how to access the event calendar, because you can actually access our YouTube channel from the event calendar, but everything really can be accessed from our website. So the very first thing that, let me just share here. Let's see. All right.
Everything there. So it's and the cool thing about these shares, by the way, on the YouTube, like Tech Tip Tuesday, it's all time stamped, and the information is there in terms of you just want to sort through it.
Exactly. So one of the things that I always encourage everybody is to understand that pretty much every link that you will need for Healy, you're going to find it, or at least you can get to from our website. So as long as you have access to our website, you probably will find their YouTube channel and event calendar. So for the event calendar, you can go to business and then events. That's what's going to take you to our event calendar. So again, if you have questions as to when is Tech Tip Tuesday, when is the Healy Solutions series, you can always go ahead and refer to the link, right, to the events, right, to the event calendar. You have a summary of the different events that we do right here. You can sign up for Healy onboarding, which are those individual sessions that we do, where we offer guidance on anybody who may need help with their Healy getting started. And sometimes we even go over the other apps, the Healy Advisor Analyze 2 app, Healy Advisor app. But our YouTube channel can also be found right here on the right. So if you click right here, you're going to be taken to our YouTube channel. And let's say that you missed a Tech Tip Tuesday. Very easy. You go to playlists, and then you're going to have a section for the Tech Tip Tuesdays, which is right here. Let's say that you missed the one of our advanced trainings. You're going to have the advanced trainings right here. The Healy Solutions series, you can see right here. So far we have done 2 of these videos. So again, you can rewatch them right there. So our YouTube channel is definitely one of the best ways to really stay updated when it comes to all of the videos and all of the events that we're doing, because we're constantly updating, and we're even adding right now content from the other hubs too. Some of these videos you're gonna find in Germany, like this one, where this was one of the recent videos where we show Marcus Mika is demonstrating you know, the amazing power of the Healy high wave, the way that it interacts and with every single cell in your body, and the frequency remains consistent no matter where you put it. So in the video, he actually puts a like a frequency meter in different parts of the body, and it displays how the frequency carrier, the 5 megahertz frequency carrier frequency stays the same throughout the whole body. So it's a really cool video. It's one of our latest ones, so I definitely recommend that you take a look at that. But yes, our YouTube channel is great. Definitely take a look at that. Don't miss out on that. And we pretty much upload everything there. So go ahead and take advantage of that.
Awesome. So and by the way, folks, to get to that, the website that Henry's talking about is the shop page. So you guys, you know, members of Healy, it's not from your back office, it's from the shop page. So everybody has access to it, customers as well as members. You just go to your shop page, and that's where it's going to be. Now, I'm not sure how everybody's working in the other countries, in the other markets, but the Healy USA shop page is, you know, is really great. I know that Healy's working on making everything pretty much consistent globally. So changes that, you know, that affect other countries affect us eventually, or vice versa. So, so just be aware of that. You know, changes are being made to make things much more uniform. From a company's perspective, folks, I know if you've, I own my own business and have for over 25 years. And when it comes to creating consistency, that increases and improves efficiency. And sometimes that, you know, that makes that, not sometimes, it always makes things work better. But sometimes that means making choices that change certain aspects of the company or the product that serves the greater good, the bigger whole, right? So the intention, I know in my world, my intention is to help as many people as possible. And your success typically is predicated on how many people you help. Yes. So, you know, the act of service, the heart of service is one of the strongest and most effective ways to gain abundance that there ever was. The heart of service will gain you the most abundance because you're not doing it for selfish reasons. You're not doing it for capital gains exactly. You're doing it because it's the right thing to do, right? So again, I think that's in business, it's a kind of a balance of right thing to do and best for the greater good. So making sure that that's the most important thing. All right. And let's see. Also, by the way, folks, you saw Henry was sharing that shop page. There's a little pink tab that says sale. And when you click on that little pink tab, that's all the specials that are going on right now. So if you're interested in what's going on this month, right? We're in a new month. July is here, everybody. Man, June flew by. It's like crazy. But here we're in July, everybody. And so looking at the new deals that are right there, that's what's available right now. Okay. Let's see, here's a question here. He says, a question I heard a couple of months ago that Healy would start rolling out different pricing structures for Healy's. And there would no longer be any 40-50% promos anymore, starting with euros, the euro markets. Again, what's happening in the different markets are specific to that market. And you know, we're trying to make this call available at a certain time so other markets can join on. We just may not have all of the current things for all the other markets, but exactly, we do have a resource to point you to, and that trying to make things more consistent, as I mentioned, we'll probably make some changes in sales and specials. So what's happening today? I'm not sure. Sorry. From the sales perspective, when it comes to the technical stuff, the apps and all that stuff, that's where we thrive, where I thrive. From an engineer's perspective, I can tell you pretty much how things work within this hardware, within the quantum field entanglement, all all that kind of fun stuff. Okay. So Marjorie's asking, could we inform our water using MagHealy programs from classic atmosphere and McMakin groups, or only from the water activation group? So you heard Henry say something earlier, which we need to keep our minds on. And this is something I mention often, is what's our intention, right? What is our intention? Your intention, by the way, no matter who you are and what it is, your intention has power, has energy, has frequency to it. And when you set an intention, you set many, many, many things in motion to create a action or an outcome. Okay, so when the MagHealy transmits frequencies omnidirectionally, up, down, left, right, in a big sphere coming outwardly. So if it is in proximity to your body is gaining information from those frequencies, and primarily where your body is gaining the information, or where the medium in which it's transmitting and speaking to, is the water in your body. So yeah, you're informing the water. The water there has it is a pathway for information, and so that goes out to all the cells, systems, everything. So water is like the infrastructure for everything to orbit within. So if you're using your MagHealy and you're sending information out into your body and it's to your water, it's the same. And then you're drinking the water. Now you're getting it in a very similar mechanism. The water programs are designed specifically for water. It doesn't mean that the other ones aren't. They're just everything has a specific design. From an engineering perspective, we design something for a specific, let's just call it an avatar, or, an entity. When we're designing a tire for a car, it's a little bit different than a tire for, say, a tractor, right? We're designing it for a specific entity. So same thing with Healy. If a program is designed for the MagHealy, okay, it's designed for the MagHealy. And then if it's a specific program within the MagHealy parameters for water, again, it's got its optimal function with water. Doesn't mean it doesn't influence things that also have water in them besides just a glass, okay? Or a program designed for a body that communicates through water. It doesn't mean that it doesn't influence water that's in a glass, okay? So when we're talking about these different ways of using this technology, it has an optimal way of being used based on its design. And then there's all the other trickle down. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think, that kind of touches the same thing with animal programs. Like, you could technically use your Healy with animals, and you can use pretty much any IMF program. As long as you can use it with a coil, you can use it on an animal, and they could still experience benefits from even, cold cycle programs. Like, that is a thing. That's something you can do. However, we have animal programs for a reason, and it's because they have been designed specifically for animals. So same thing with the water programs. Even though you can technically use some of the atmosphere programs, and they will still be sending magnetic fields that in one way or another will harmonize the environment and everything in it, the water programs are specifically designed, and you're going to see that they even have specific purposes. Like, there are some that are, like, for example, there's like fasting in the morning, fasting at night, etc., that are designed to promote informed water for specific purposes. So again, even though you can harmonize things with the MagHealy in different ways, regardless of the program that you're doing, if you want to focus on water, you may want to stick to those water programs.
Yeah, it's all about optimization. I mean, even though a race car is technically a car, you probably wouldn't use a passenger tire on a race car, right? You would probably use something that can go fast and high speeds. So it doesn't mean it wouldn't work. The race car would still roll, but you probably wouldn't want to get on the racetrack and go 150 miles an hour down the road. I don't know. Anyway, they're just optimized for certain things. And I always look at things from an engineering perspective, because when you build something, You know, you build a birdhouse for a bird, not for a dog, right? Dog might not fit unless it's a really big birdhouse. So that's what we're talking about here, folks. Um, can you do it? And here's again, where you place your attention is where you place your energy. If you place your attention on on an on a glass of water, that water in that glass will be informed by your intention. It will be informed. And then you drink it, it's going to then reinform your body. Now, what's the benefit of that? Your body already created the intention in the first place. Your mind created the intention. The mind orchestrates the brain communicates through your systems, again, through water in your body. So the intention is already bred throughout the entire body. Is it in that glass of water too? Sure. Are you going to get a benefit from it? I don't know. I mean, your body has the strongest measure of intention in it than the water. So, but what you believe will also have an effect. If you believe that the intention in that water is stronger than the intention in your body, and you drink that water, boom, the effect is solid. Okay. The placebo effect, we've heard of that, was created because, or was discovered way back, I mean, in the 60s. And it was discovered that the power of belief could change chemistry within the body, and it was measurable. And so they had to add a very specific, when doing studies, you've got to add the mind in as part of the effect on the chemistry. So the mind has it is the most powerful component to your healing or to your acceptance of anything. We can reject or accept, and whatever degree in which we're doing either one of those will determine the effect on biology. Biology, your bodies, ladies and gentlemen, your bodies are the last thing of your creation. The last thing. It's the three-dimensional matter. You didn't just create this body today in this moment. It did not happen. It happened over the years of your life. And to this moment, it is it. To this moment, it is it. Not the next moment yet. Not tomorrow yet. But to this moment, it is it. And if you want to change anything about it, it's done in this present moment. So that the next second, it's a new version. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, that body is a new version of itself to the tune of 800,000 cells per second. So every second, we are getting a new version of this body. And your intention has a mother lode influence on that. 97% of your genetic code for those 800,000 is an adaptive gene reading the environment that your mind is interfacing with. Your mind constantly interfacing with 97% of your genetic code. So you want to heal something, start in the mind. And I pointed to my head, but that's not where the mind is. The mind manipulates this brain, it orchestrates this brain. The brain is an organ, it's an instrument of the mind. The mind, you can't cut the brain cell open and see the mind, right? I mean, you can't. But the mind orchestrates, puppeteers, works with the brain, and then that builds this body. So an intention is built in the mind. The mind then transmits that intention chemically, energetically through the brain, and the body becomes it. Think about the power you've got. Wow. And Healy, here's the fun part. Healy with the frequencies comes into that 97% of the adaptive gene. What? Right? That's where Healy, the frequencies come in to that 97% of the adaptive gene. The mother lode of who you are can be influenced by thought and by healing. Okay. So I'm just saying, look at the gift you've got. All right. I went on a little rant there. Sorry, folks, but I just like I love the power we have. I want to put the power back in your hands, right? The power is within you. We need to empower you so you can empower the body.
Something I like to tell people is that I think to me one, because I mean you can get pretty complex when it comes to quantum physics and the understanding of like mind over matter and all of that. But to me, one of the easiest way to understand this topic and to actually integrate it and so that at any given moment you're seeing life like this is think of it as the world different layers, right? So there's the tissues, there's the organs and the bones, then we have blood, then we have cells, then we have molecules, then we have atoms and subatomic particles. Then when we reach that subatomic particle, also known as quantum level, right? Then we have energy. More fundamental than energy, there's information. So what I want you to take from all of this is at the very core, everything is information. And how do we perceive information? Through the mind. Pain, physical, emotional, energetic pain, it doesn't matter. It's all information. So whenever you are feeling bad or feeling good, it doesn't really matter. Everything is information. When you have a thought, that is information. When you have a feeling, that is information. When you look at something beautiful and you sense that through your eyes, that is information. When you look at everything in terms of information, the illusion of separateness completely disappears because everything is just information. When you see somebody out there, when you look at the Healy, it doesn't matter. Everything is information. So when you start looking at things in terms of information, all of this idea of mind over matter really comes out to making more sense. Instead of looking at the body as an entity, as an individual entity, or mind as an individual entity, or senses as different thing, anything that we perceive with our senses as different things, just think of absolutely everything as data. And then things make a little bit more sense.
Yeah, I love that because we get so wrapped up in these bodies in what I would call the very, very large, and we forget there's a very tiny. There's a very tiny that links us all. It links everything, and that very tiny is that quantum field. And even you keep going deeper and deeper, you discover string theory, which is now, how everything is strung together, right? And there is this massive, massive medium or soup that everything is within, even the oxygen molecules that you're breathing in right now. Just think about this for a second. The oxygen molecules you're breathing in, and your body's utilizing the molecule, exhaling carbon dioxide, and then those molecules are not gone, they're just repurposed, right? And then that same molecule was present here in the prehistoric time, right? So everything is linked, it's not separate. And we need to really, unfortunately, I think there's a lot of separation in our existence. People are thinking it's just me and it's just my world and I'm the only one that can fix this, and I'm the only one that has this problem or this condition, and it's my fault, and it's all these things. It's like, okay, zoom out for a while. Take a moment, folks. If you're really serious about your healing, and I know you are, you wouldn't be here. Healy is a tool to help you zoom out. It really does. When it's analyzing the information field, it's zoomed out the biggest it can be. It is zoomed out into the information field, which is encompassing, as Henry said, all things, every molecule in your body, out of your body, in other people's bodies. It's out there, zoomed way out. So the first step of our individual healing is stop taking it so personal. Stop making it so personal and making it so private and it's just you and you're broken or something's wrong with you. No, that's not true. You are an amazing combination of trillions of cells that are in harmony with an intelligence that's very hard to fathom. But an intelligence that is of the greatest and most powerful. And to say that you're separate from it, or to say that that's broken and doesn't work within you, is completely false. And the first step of fixing anything is, as my hat says, empowering the body, right? Empower these bodies. And we do it through empowering these minds. Allow your mind to be okay. Whatever it's doing right now, as chaotic as it might seem, as intrusive these thoughts might be, let them be okay. You're not broken. You're not defective. Just learning to manage, right? Let go, breathe, and know that you're attached to this intelligence. That's your gift. That's your gift of life in this moment. All right, you guys.
And I like that it's a reminder that you are the ones who are empowered to do all of this. As Ken said, the Healy is a tool. It's an amazing tool that you can take advantage of, and I know how tricky it can be to really get out of, those maybe intrusive thoughts, maybe physical pain, emotional pain, things that we all go through, and I know it's really hard to get out of that mindset on your own. And that's really where Healy comes into play. I strongly believe that Healy has an ability to really touch you energetically to a point where these things start making sense and you're like, wait a minute, it was all me all along. And I think that's really the amazing power of the Heal. It's an amazing tool that empowers you to realize how powerful you actually are.
Yeah. How many of you guys have ever had a problem that you solved? Anybody? I imagine everybody's had a problem that you've solved, right? So go back to the other side of the problem where it was not solved. And it was like catastrophe. Everything was broken. Nothing was working. It was crazy. And then all of a sudden it got solved. How'd you feel on the other side of that? There's this side of the not solved, and then there's the other side of the solved. Think about the two positions that you felt were so true. They were so correct, right? On the other side of the problem, it's not fixed. I don't know how to fix it. I can't fix it. Everything's broken. It's not ever going to be solved. And then all of a sudden, something came through and it's solved. And now you're on the other side going, oh, I knew it all along, right? I had this. Yeah. Go back to the you that was present before it got solved and you were in chaos, maybe frustration, maybe even, sadness. I don't know, all the things that come up. But the point is that every time you've solved something, you gain a little bit of strength. You gain information, you gain wisdom, right? You tapped into the information field, and that's where the solution was. And then it came into you, you projected it into the world, and now you're done. So guess what? The same thing is here right now in this moment. Right now in this moment, every solution is possible. Just because you don't have it right now doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Just because you can't see it right now doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means there's more information to gain and more alignment to obtain, and perhaps something that, like Henry said, the Healy helps you and guides you and down regulates some of that stress response of feeling like you're stuck, right? That's it. That's it. When we just get out of the stuckness and get into the achievableness, and those are very, very important words. They're in the dictionary, stuckness and achievableness. Okay. Use those words wisely. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. Henry, that was fun. Thank you for being here. It's always great to see you. Anything you want to close with?
No, absolutely, Ken. Again, just thank you so much. I always love talking about all these things, and again, reminding everybody here who, like, we understand that a lot of us, use the Healy for any kinds of different purposes. Like all of us have a different story, but it's always a great reminder to, to know that you have the power. Ultimately, you have the power. The Heal is an amazing tool, especially, like I always tell everybody, the Heal Advisor Analyze 2 app is basically a manifestation tool. It's designed to help you manifest things, manifest a different mindset, manifest a different life, manifest a different behavior, different things in your life. But you are the one doing the manifesting. It's not the Heal, it's you. So remember that. Remember, the Heal is a tool, but you are the one with the power.
I love it. All right, you guys. Hey, thanks for joining us. Join in next week again for the summer celebration. We're going to have some prizes, some giveaways. Jake will be back, and so he'll be bringing back probably some cool news, maybe from Germany. I don't know, I'm just guessing. But anyway, you guys, thanks for being here. Thank you, Henry. Love you all. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.
Thank you, Ken. Bye bye, everybody.